The UDU, a planned development united, installed their neighborhood nodes throughout the entirety of a land. Their reach was unmatched.
Alrighty, good morning or good evening, whatever it is, and welcome to team meeting number 15. Again, it's going to be pretty loose, this one. We've got a few things to cover and a few people to chime in today. A lot's been happening. Missed out last week. I did have some people reach out to ask if I was okay, because I had that period where, I had some health issues, and the last couple of team meetings I was wearing a beanie. No, I'm not super sick and my hair's not all been shaved off. I just have shocking bed hair in the morning because it's like 4 a.m. when I get up for these things. So thank you for your concerns, but all's good. Yeah, so still getting people reaching out to ask, who is UDU, what it's all about. Basically, we're just a group of players that have all got together and we coordinate property development. It's pretty much as simple as it sounds. Upland Development United. That's who we are. That's what we do. It has been really good recently to see a lot of members come on board who came on board as UDUA members that have stepped up to full UDU membership. And a lot of that's revolved around the new vetting process that we initiated. And again, want to thank Nubek, Svinsky and MoreCheese for all the work that they do regarding that. It's certainly streamlined the process and made it a lot more clearer. It does mean there's a lot more steps now to becoming a full UDU member. But yeah, I think in the long term it's going to work out for the best. Other than that, we've been busy with the new Spark train, which has been going full steam ahead, and I will pull up a nice pretty view. Look at that, that's looking quite good. This is Midtown Terrace in San Francisco, which for people that are watching or listening who don't know, this was the main area that started UDU off. And yeah, lots of buildings going up and lots of finished buildings. And this is all in our original, what we call the residential area. And this section up here hasn't been built out yet, that's kind of what we deemed as the business area. We're not sure how that's going to pan out. It may be that the residential area keeps expanding depending on how the business things roll out. We're not really sure what's going to happen there. So there is the option to continue rolling the residential area up if interest is maintained for people who want to get involved or who are already involved down the bottom and want to get further involved. I do actually have to go through and check a lot of these properties. We do have some players who have come on board and build a property, but then they're not that engaged in the game. So there's several buildings I know that are finished that just haven't been inaugurated. One of the other things I wanted to mention about this in particular too was that it's been good to see there's a bunch of non-UDU members who have built properties in the area, and some of them are for sale, some of them are not for sale. I think that's really good for the growth of the entire neighborhood, because we were initially worried, as with all San Francisco neighborhoods, there's going to be a lot of dead areas with people who came on board, became uplanders, so their properties are secured to their account, but then they just disappear and don't play the game again. So that's been good. If you are somebody who has property in Midtown Terrace, perhaps you have a property up here in the business area. If you wanted to swap for something down in the main residential area, just send me a DM. That's pretty easy to work out. Or if you want assistance to build in your area, even if you're not officially part of the UDU, we do have an access point in our UDU server for non-members to get involved, and that's on our brand new Spark train, which, as I said, has been going full speed ahead. And I might send that over to you, MoreCheese, to talk about that.
Okay, so we we started the Spark Train July 10th, and we have about 17 properties going. About 3 small townhouses, 1 ranch, and 13 townhouses, with a total number of 44 stakers, maybe some stalkers. Staking a total of 67 Spark. We've so far since July 10th completed 10 properties, which is awesome. 15 fully staked properties. So we just have 2 that are waiting to be fully staked, but they're like just about halfway there. And how did we get all this information? We definitely have Hiray, and I hope I'm saying that right, to thank for all of this information. It made my life so much easier. We're able to get this information pulled from the blockchain on a regular basis with the program he created. It allows us to kind of like input the properties to get them on the Spark train and then follow their progress without even having to go into the actual game, which is key. Because I think even the game was having a little bit of trouble, but the Spark, the bot we had was still going strong. It tells us exactly how much Spark has been contributed, how much more Spark is needed when a property is completely supplied with Spark, and when a building has completely finished. He also set up notifications to let us know when we need to move. So it sends, like, he's recently set it to send a DM and to do like a shout out in our Discord, which is awesome. So we know when to put it to the next build.
Yeah, that's huge. If I can just cut in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a massive feature. Like we've seen in the community, a lot of people asking the Upland team, you know, we need notifications for when our buildings finish and when our Spark frees up. And to have that within our server it's a massive help. I know yesterday I was at work, and you know, I'm not technically supposed to be tapping away on my phone, but I got the DM notification pop up, your Spark is available, and within a minute I reallocated it, and you know, it was that's a massive huge help. So yeah, definitely mad props to Hooray for that. And and of course for yourself for managing it all. And I always see Finsky in there keeping track of things as well. So
yeah,
it's good to
see. UNUB, everybody's been helpful. And like, I also want to say thank you to everyone who's contributed to the train this round. We had a lot of really good friends come in and let us use their Spark. And we do appreciate that a lot. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I forgot what I was going to say. With the contributors, like, yeah, just if you come on board for the round 2 build, yeah, just follow the list. It's always in the build list channel. We had some people come on board, like I think people were starting from the bottom or jumping in and just thinking, oh, I'll put some here and I'll put some there. But it really does help if we fill those up in order. It just helps to really keep track of things and just to bang them out as soon as possible. So I forget, what were the numbers? Do you remember, MoreCheese, when I put that test thing up in the Excel or the Google sheet? Was that we were going to be finished? I think it was 21 days or something that we were going to be finished. Was that right? Something like that.
I think it was even a little bit longer, like maybe 24. And then we started getting people coming in and contributing more Spark, and it brought it down significantly.
Yeah. So that's what we've always talked about, even with the old train, was, you know, if we keep shoveling in a little bit, it's going to pick up steam and it's going to get faster. But if we have people starting to pull things out, then it really does quickly takes the steam out of the train and the whole thing falls apart. So I definitely think these much shorter rounds, 1 build, 1 player, I think that's definitely played out way better.
I agree.
Yeah. So for round 2, what are we looking to do there?
Pretty much try to do the same thing. Maybe since we did this so fast, if we have the same amount of stakers and whatnot, maybe we can bring it to 20 properties instead of 17, try to get a few more people in there, try to keep it to max 15 days, which is really good. And we'll see, maybe we could open up round 2 for this weekend.
Yeah, that sounds good. And do you think we should do a system where if you were in round 1, does that give you priority in round 2, or does that work against you? Should people who weren't involved in round 1, should they get priority? What do you think there?
I think at this point in the game, first come, first serve. Like the only people who aren't allowed to do it are the ones that already have 3 properties made from the first ever train. Like we're here to help everyone who helped us. So for the first 3 rounds, pretty much like just get people in. I know we have our minimum number. Before it was 25. I know we wanted to raise that up a little bit.
Oh, you mean 0.25?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe let a few people in that can't afford that, just like to help out a little bit. But for the most part, keep it to 0.5 at least.
Yeah, we can't have 15 people at 0.25. That's just not going to work, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the most part, we had only a few this round with that many. So with the amount of outside people like staking, we should take advantage of it a little bit.
Yeah, I guess that gets back to the point of what we're trying to set up with the new server is it's all about engagement. So yeah, if we make it a first come, first serve, well, it's if you're engaged in what we're doing, you're going to see it and you're going to get involved. And speaking of that, we were just talking before we kicked off that we will pretty soon set up a channel where if you haven't been engaged in the server, you're going to lose your role and drop off into what will now be the basement, MoreCheese's basement. So, and again, there'll be steps in there to get yourself back involved if you happen to step away for a while. And that's not going to include people like, who's a good example? Somebody who's, or I suppose Envenom would be a good example. Obviously, he's fully busy with the GreenRabbit stuff, or we've had a few friends who have illnesses and whatnot, so they won't drop off. Did anybody who's on the call want to speak to the new process with the round 2 Spark train that we just discussed, just making it a first in, first served, basically?
Well, basically, I think it's good that we increase the amount of Spark a little bit, not too much, because you don't want to throw people off, of course. But there's also a question in chat by Mikan. He's asking how he can or she can nominate their prop for round 2. So we should elaborate a bit on that, I guess.
We should be opening up round 2 for this weekend or whenever the last property is fully complete. And then we'll open up the nominate your details in our Discord, which is under the Spark category. So when we open that up, we'll get people coming in. We'll make sure the minimum is met for the most part. I know there might be a couple that are slightly below, but like I said before, we can't really play favorites because that's horrible. So first come, first serve. You can't, please don't try to reserve with Ben or I before that, because
yeah, it's also
stressful.
it's a combination of first come, first serve and the amount of Spark you're staking. So Stirs Merlin has just asked in the chat, what's the incentive to stake more Spark on the train? Well, the incentive is that you're going to be higher up the build list and the train goes faster and we get done faster so we can do another round. The more Spark that everybody stakes, the faster we can turn over the round and, the faster properties will get built. That's pretty much it, I think. So,
and now that we know that how fast we can go, we can add a few more people to the train.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Like what Nubek said, like just bumping up the minimum a little bit and seeing how we go, opening up the amount of tickets, as we've been calling it, pushing that to 20, see how we go. And yeah, definitely getting rid of the perceived favoritism that was in the first train. That was all pretty wishy-washy and all over the place. And
yeah, you still got the cut marks from me.
well, it wasn't just you. I had several people reach out saying, "Hey, why am I getting bumped down the list?" It made perfect sense that wasn't a good look. So I definitely think this new system's way better. But
and
yes, sorry, go ahead.
I also just had an idea right now. If you are somebody that's new that wants like to kind of join us for the train, and you don't have the 50 spark, maybe you have 35 or 30. We can work something out.
You got to use 0.0 point, because it sounds 30 spark. I mean, geez, you're a rich mofo.
0.30 spark. 0.30 spark.
Yeah,
that's all right. Like we could work something out where you don't make a full townhouse, you make a small townhouse or a ranch. Like we could definitely work it out with you. If you don't like if you just don't want to use it, that's another story. But if you don't have it, like we could definitely work it out, because like, I kind of feel bad for those who don't have it and want to build and want to, be involved and whatnot. So we could definitely work something out. It won't be as big as a townhouse, but it'll be something to get you going.
Sure. And I think a point there to make too is that, it's not going to be a very good look if we go out of our way to help you and then you just go on to flip your property to make profit. That's our whole system is not based on, gouging up X from players or renting up X or anything like that, or paying people. It's about you help us, we help you. I mean,
exactly.
Fair enough. If it gets down the road and you want to flip your property, that's fair enough. But just keep it in mind that that's not really what we're about. We're about coordinated development and long-term goals and long-term vision and whatnot.
Yeah, when this game gets going and out of beta, this is going to be such an awesome node to be a part of, and it just looks so beautiful as it is. Like, why would you want to flip it? It's weird.
Yeah, and that's not just for. We should clarify too that if you're somebody from the public who's watching this on YouTube or whatever, just because you've got no association to UDUA or UDU, you can still get involved via our Spark channel. So there is a mechanism where you can get involved in our server. You can have access to all of the the veteran and established players that are in our server, and there's no obligation whatsoever to have any official association with UDU or any ongoing thing. So there is a pathway in for that. So if that's something that interests you or you want to check it out, just send MoreCheese or myself a DM, or anybody that you see with UDU tagging in the service, and they'll head you in the right direction. Okay, anything else we need to cover on that?
But it still means that you can nominate a property that is not part of a official UDU node, right? That's also the implication of that, what you're saying. I think that's also good to point out.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and that's something that we should make clear too. Yeah, we have had, and we've even had, I believe, UDUA members building not in UDU nodes, and that's fine. It's all about you help us, we help you. That's the entirety of what our system is all about from the get-go. So thanks, Bob. That helps. And yeah, we have had. Oh, sorry. Go.
I was just going to say, I'd like to add that I know I've fallen off the wagon the past couple of weeks, but I wanted to add that it looks amazing. That bot is really awesome, and MoreCheese, what you're doing and what everyone is doing is really cool, and it's awesome to see how all this is just developing in its process, let alone in the node and in the neighborhood. So great job, everyone, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Hang on, Stirs has got something here in chat. Stretch goal idea to discuss might be something like yield farming UDU governance tokens based off Spark contributed. I think this would help balance the amount of Spark contributed. We did talk about that. I know when Satoshi's View was heavily involved in UDU stuff, we kind of started talking about a UDU token sort of thing. All those guys have been snapped up and flat out with GreenRabbit stuff. So maybe once that calms down a bit, that might be something that we can look at further. It's not something that I have any skill base with at all. And that even goes for the server. Like the server that we have and see today, that's entirely all product of MoreCheese's brain and finger tapping skills. So
I could look into making like an NFT to distribute. I
didn't
showed you
we-
something.
Yeah, didn't we already put that in the pipeline when I asked for something shiny?
Yeah, but then I forgot all about it.
Yeah. Oh, it seems to be a curse. We've had several members come on board and, you know, ask about developing a UDU NFT series, and then they've fallen off the wagon. So I've started to think it's cursed. So
No,
I was a
I'm
bit
still here. I just need you to throw a shoe at me, like, because I got so many things going on. Just say, hey, this way.
all right. I get it. Yeah, we talked about how it'd be cool to kind of like what GreenRabbit's done with the Horde NFT, whatever that kind of cool looking rabbit one is, where you can get airdropped all stuff based on that. We talked about doing something similar for UDUA membership and UDU, or it could be the whole process. Like when you come on board as a Spark member, which is basically our open community area, you'd be, if you nominated your wax address, well, you'd be dropped a Spark NFT, and then if you became UDUA, well, you'd be dropped a UDUA NFT, and the mint number would be associated to your member number. And the same thing once you bumped up to UDU. I think with anything like that, it'd be good to get the ball rolling with that when we can, even though we're probably not sure how that's going to play out long term. But yeah, just make it non-transferable, non-burnable or whatever. And yeah, you know, once that system's in and good to go, you know, there's a variety of different ways that could possibly be pursued in the future. But yeah, I think this would help balance the amount of Spark contributed. Yeah, that's a tough one. We've struggled with that from the get-go when we first started talking about this system. We really didn't want to get into it in a position where we're, like I said, buying and renting Spark and that sort of thing. It was always going to be about, you know, helping each other. And as MoreCheese alluded to, you know, if somebody's only got 0.7 Spark, you know, is it fair to say to them, well, you have to, the minimum to get involved is 0.5? Maybe it is fair. I'm not sure. Somebody like myself who has almost 10, you know, it wouldn't be very fair for me to plonk in 0.5 and then expect to have a building done. So I don't know. It's one of those things that we're going to have to just play by ear. I think this kind of learn as we go approach, where we're not getting ahead of ourselves, we're going nice and slow, and we're just tweaking things slowly and just seeing how it plays out. I think that'll work out better in the long term.
I think it's just the benefit of being part of a community like UDU and like having our friends come in and just kind of helping whenever they can. I've had so many people reach out to me saying they want to help, you know, our train, and it's been really cool. Like, I know that, you know, you can rent the Spark and this and that, but I just think, what's the point in being in a community if you can't kind of like pull your resources together and help each other out? So that's the reason why, you know, I really like being here and doing it like this personally. I can't see like kind of like offering incentives or anything. Like the whole NFT thing would be fun. I would like to do it because it's something I like to do and whatnot. And I'll definitely look into that and have something ready by this weekend. But like everyone who's contributed in the previous round can receive like a really cool looking NFT, UDU NFT. I think that's awesome. But as like an incentive to get people on, I think, I don't know, it's kind of like defeating the purpose.
So you mean like you'd have a round one token on, not a token, an NFT, a round two? Yeah, that'd be really cool to add that as well. Yeah, I think in regards to like players coming on board and kind of debating whether to rent their Spark out or stake it to the train. I know personally I have to be mindful that my account is in a different position than a lot of other people's accounts. So whereas I might kind of turn my nose up at 1,000 UpX per Spark per day, to a new, not really established player, that might be a significant thing to pursue. You know what I mean? So have to be mindful of that as well, I guess.
But
You
if
know,
they're new, they're not going to really have the minimum, and it's not going to be worth it anyway. So they could go
Yeah.
ahead and do that.
True, yeah, and it just becomes, with everything, it just becomes about communication. You know, have a chat. You know, if we have a chat, there's pretty much nothing we can't work out. You know, if it's not going to work out, you know, we'll tell you the reasons why, and we'll work towards helping you get to a point where you can get involved. You know, that's pretty simple.
And I've had people who contributed Spark without even being on a train. Like, let's say somebody contributed 4, and then they say, oh, hey, I'm going to pull 2 to help my buddy out, or I'm going to pull 2 to rent out. That's more than okay. Like 2 Spark is amazing. You know, and it's being donated. It's basically being donated for the cause. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got someone like I'm building an apartment in Midtown Terrace, potentially for as a placeholder for my business. And ever since the get-go, I'll see if I can bring it up. There's just some random person being staked on it, and I've tried to find them in DMs. You know, I can't. Let me see if I can find who it is.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of, as we said at the start, it's a bit stalkerish.
No, stop. It's nice, Ben.
Here we go. Pinkatabby. If you are Pinkatabby, reach out. Thank you for the Spark you've staked on my apartment since the get-go. Yeah, that's not much. I think it's 0.15, but it still helps. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think Nubix jumped on a little bit too to help out there. Thank you. So yeah, so we're going to get the round 2 build. The nominations we're going to get that going soon, and again that's going to be just another townhouse round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, another townhouse.
Yeah, I think for the first 3 rounds, just to get people kind of caught up to where we kind of are.
Yeah.
When we did the first thing, that way, like our karma's good, consciences are clear, blah blah blah.
Yeah. So that'd be round 2 and 3. Do we want to look ahead to round 4 and speculate what that's going to be?
No.
No, don't get ahead of ourselves.
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm gonna concentrate on making something really nice for the round 1 stakers. I think that was a really great suggestion from Stirs, and I'm gonna get that done before this weekend, and just I'll make it really nice, something like as a appreciation, because like it's been really awesome how many people came forward and helped us with this. So we do really appreciate it.
How about for the old train? Could you do something up there for the people that are involved in the old broken train coming off the tracks or something?
So for the round 1 people,
Well, for the initial round 1 broken train people.
I'll look into it. Do we still have the? I think we did away with the old thing, or can I access some files?
Yeah, well, that brings up another point that I want to mention too. Yeah, all the 3 old servers, they're all now officially closed and behind the curtain, so they are still all there.
All right.
If there is something there, yeah, if there is something there that you want to get access to, or you had an old post, just reach out to me and I can hook you up with that.
Because that's the only way I'd be able to check out like the old train. Oh no, I have an Excel sheet. Duh. All right, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't need.
We just have to put a blast out to get people's wax addresses. That'd be the only thing.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that'd be kind of cool too.
CJ's laughing at me.
So I think that covers everything UDU wise. Yeah, we have been, or we can kind of hint, I guess, there have been several members working very hard behind the scenes on a very cool project that I know MoreCheese and myself are very keen to get out in the public, and to basically congratulate them on all the hard work they've been doing. It's going to be very cool in the end. And I know MoreCheese and myself have been trying to weed our way into that a little bit. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, very exciting. Especially just seeing like the enthusiasm and the commitment that, you know, a couple of members who both initially started off as UDUA members, you know, they've just picked up the overall UDU concept and just run with it themselves and made it their own. And as we've always talked about, that's what we're all about, you know. Get your little side projects going. If we can help out in any way or get involved, yeah, we're happy to do so. So looking forward to the release of that. Other than that, the Longwood Drive, that's still kicking off. There's the, what is it, the Almond Park node. There's still plenty of properties involved there or available there. I did do a little mini run in, what was it, North Mango Ave. I bought out a little section there, which was fun. And I've still been going bonkers in Chicago, just buying up slums. I think I spoke to Sturs briefly this morning about it. I think that anything I buy there in the 3 to 5K range, I think that in time that's an easy 2 to 3x flip. And I've already started to do that in San Francisco. I've listed a bunch of properties in San Francisco. I think they're about 3 to 4x. And I started listing some in Manhattan, and some of those are 10, 11, 12x. So, and I'm getting sales of them come through. So I think if you have the ability to do so, yeah, get yourself a small portfolio of Chicago. I mean, it's a tier 1 city, and with the other 2 examples we have of tier 1 cities, it's pretty good. But again, it's a long-term play. And I think going back to what I talked about at the start too, it's kind of been funny to see with a lot of co-ops and a lot of OG players that came on board in San Francisco, got heavily involved in San Francisco, but then we know there's literally thousands and thousands of dead properties there. It's been, funny is not the right word, interesting to see that a lot of players who were all about San Francisco have kind of started to move away, whether they're going to Oakland or Chicago or Cleveland. They're kind of moving into these newer areas where there's a lot of the newer player base who are probably more likely to stick around and get involved. I think we're always going to have some drop off and dead accounts. That's just part of the process. But yeah, so. But yeah, if you have the ability to grab a few properties, mad if you don't, I reckon. Not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, other than that, I think that wraps up the UDU stuff. I'd like to maybe have a bit of a chat about the recent GreenRabbit stuff, which was the reason why we didn't have a team meeting last week, because I was up at, I think it was midnight. I was up at midnight till 4 a.m. or something ridiculous, sweating by the computer, grabbing my GreenRabbit stuff. How'd everybody go?
I did pretty well, I have to say. I got a few crates. I was getting the smaller packs and kind of flipping them so I could get the premier packs. It was an exciting, fun time of you know, a drop that has been highly anticipated for a while. I can't wait for the 27th to play the game. You know, I know on Venom, I know he's a smart guy. I always told him he was a great speaker. And I see big things for him in this game.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. And Reggings has just said that he opened a crate and got all commons. Yeah. If there was a lot of that going around. Yeah, I think people might have
But he
seen
got the
that.
3D, but he got
Yeah.
the 3D guy, which is really big. And
Yeah.
like, that's going to be like the latest announcements that Envenom put out was that like those that have the 3D figure are going to get, you know, a lot more benefits than they think. So keep that in mind and forget about the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, but he
Oh.
got an epic, so that's good.
Oh, that's Stir's saying that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, I didn't do that great in the crates themselves, but I ended up buying a couple of extra 3D figures on the market, which I thought were a really good price at the time. I think I got them like 800, or what is it? Yeah, 800 wax. Is that right? Yeah, something like that. And
That's a steal, dude. They've gone up a bit since then.
yeah, I'm all about the dark side and being on, you know, whenever I used to watch shows like The Dark Crystal or stuff like that, I was always rooting for the Skeksis. Come on, the Skeksis. So I was a bit disappointed to pull a 3D human Albert. I was like, ah. So I ended up buying a Saw Scale and a Mark Tortuga 3D common. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm all about that dark side.
Yeah,
Albert's still a good call though, dude. You get a higher staking rate with Albert than the other
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah,
So that's still a result.
The one thing that I got from my Albert was it was a mint number 69. So I have put that up at a fishing price of 69,069.69. Just trying to fish for some giggly man children. See how we go.
giggity.
Yeah. But yeah, that as you said, MoreCheese, it was super impressive. I was involved in the GR process really early on, but kind of dropped off as it took a different direction and I had other stuff going on. But just super impressive to see what Envenom was able to pull off from kind of really humble beginnings to just like this massive snowball that just picked up all these just incredibly talented people. Like I watched a brief video just recently where on NFT Gamer TV where Josh was interviewing another Australian, actually, somebody 6 p.m. or something, and some of the things that some of the skill sets that you see these people have is just amazing. And just to see Envenom just, you know, just grabbing all of these people. And I think that's what he really excels at is, you know, finding really talented people and then putting them in a position where they can just do their thing and, you know, just run with it. And we've seen GreenRabbit come from just a basic kind of play around idea to, you know, taking the wax world and the NFT world just by storm, breaking records and going gangbusters. So yeah, and as we always say, it's just, you know, it's just the start. So really excited to see what comes of that. And I'm not usually somebody who gets involved with, you know, the gaming side of NFTs, but this is something that I can definitely see myself, you know, spending some time playing around with and whatnot. So, what do you think, MoreCheese? I know you were involved with Our Planet and things like that.
Yeah, I just use Our Planet to farm wax for GreenRabbit. But yeah, I think they both have their importance. I know I could probably even, I'm just speculating, but I could probably even see them working together in the future. Like they're both great platforms, and I just kind of feel like there's no reason to kind of like stop doing one to do the other. Like keep doing both. I think it's going to be, if you have a good amount in Our Planet, it's still a good way to get some wax and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't play Alien Worlds anymore. I'm really mad at them. Oh my gosh.
Anything in particular?
They blacklisted me. I go on my Alien Worlds and I mine literally twice a day. I used to get like 8 TLM, and then it started going to 0.26, 0.40, and I'm like, all right, fine, they're dealing with bots, you know, I'll be patient. And then one day I get on to do one of my 2 mines and I get 0.00001, and I'm like, there's got to be something. So I wait a half an hour, I do my second one, and it says the same thing. So I went in their Discord, which I'm no longer a part of. I left that too. And I'm like, you know, what's going on. And they're like, oh yeah, you were blacklisted, fill out this form. And I'm like, bye, bye girl, bye. Bye,
Blacklisted for what?
Felicia. I don't know. Like apparently they blacklisted a whole bunch of people to try to get the bots out, and then like they're having people come back and fill out forms to like suss through. But I just didn't like. I guess like I have a lot of patience. You know that, Ben. But I think I reached my patience level with that. So I pulled all my staked TLM, I turned it into wax, and I'm just like, you know, I have too many games as it is to jump through that many hoops.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I think if you take Venom for his words, which, you know, he hasn't done wrong by anybody as of yet, and I don't expect he will anytime soon. Like, he's all about collaborating with, you know, Our Planet and all those other partners and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's super exciting. So yeah, if you're somebody who I was until just recently, who not really into the NFT game, definitely check out GreenRabbit. Definitely check out NFT Gamer TV. The guys behind NFT Gamer TV, you know, they're some of the biggest and best brains in the field. So it's really exciting to see how that's all going to play out too.
yeah, there's a first group that got me on that platform. Telegram, is it called?
Yeah.
I've never had that before until I found NFT Gamer. They have a Telegram page there that I keep open on the side.
Cool. All right, I think we're good to wrap up. Thanks everybody, and yeah, we'll get the round one train finished up, and we'll get straight into the round two. Off we go again.
Mhm.
And you said round 2 will be this weekend?
Nominations for round two. I guess we can pretty much kick that off as soon as MoreCheese is able to put all that up, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're just about almost done. I just want the last building complete. We're almost there. So like we could start getting nominations in this weekend, and whenever the last building is complete is when we could just get right into it and start.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks everybody.
Growing, waiting.